Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Unlikely, and we are days away from the first ever AEW redemption. That'll be happening Sunday, July 26th. Of course, you already know what I always say. You can get the pay-per-view on HBO Max, save your $10 internationally, myaew.com. And joining us is a man who will be defending his AEW National Championship against Andrade. Mark Davis joins us for the first time. Brother, how are you? And I told you before the interview started, thank you for all the bangers lately, dude. How are you?
Doing fantastic, man. My pleasure. Happy to provide and very much looking forward to this Sunday when I get to catch a measure of revenge against that little turncoat Andrade.
That's a turncoat's a perfect way to put it. And look, as we start off this interview, I will admit a couple things. Number one, I'm going to be going all over the place because it is our first time talking. And I never assumed that this is going to happen again. And you got a lot of stuff that I'm interested in. And number two, this might be the wildest question I've ever asked to start an interview. But let's just get into it, all right? Let's not tease it. Let's just go straight into it. You had a match recently on Collision against Speedball Mike Bailey, an absolute banger. But at some point during that match, you did the smart thing. You took his feet, you took his toes, you put them in his mouth, and you bit down on them.
Yes,
Is
sir.
that the only time in your life where you've had toes in your mouth?
Yeah. The only time in a wrestling ring.
Way to answer very smartly. He's like, reverse card. I'm not going to get trapped. Sidebar, by the way, did you see the actual video of Kyle Fletcher going absolutely crazy when you hit Mike Bailey with the pile driver on the table?
Yeah, I did. What a guy.
One of your moves, close your eyes, count to First and foremost, what's the lore on the move and your history with it and how you came to use it?
I think it's changed a little bit over like the years. I think it was like one specific pile driver that I would always use, and the name comes from Run the Jewels. It's a Run the Jewels song. I'm a real big fan of them, and I think now it's just evolved. I think any pile driver I do, like in my head, is called that, and so I've enjoyed sort of like the process of finding myself and like finding that flow and finding different ways to get into dropping people on the top of their head. And it's been a very like fun process for me.
No, the different variations is super beautiful. And of course, you brought up Run the Jewels. I am curious. We know Tony Khan is not shy of spending that money with licensing fees. So like, let's say hypothetically, maybe you got to match it all in. Is that the moment where you talk to Tony and go, hey, I want the RTJ song for my entrance for this?
Yeah, right. I feel like there's going to come a moment. There's going to come a time, and we'll know it. I feel like we'll know it. It'll be there, and I think it's something that in the realm of possibilities does exist as something that could happen. So we'll see. We'll stay posted.
Also, Killer Mike is a wrestling fan too. So listen, let's just speak it into the universe. When the time is right, it'll happen. You made me smile a few years ago when you tweeted out that you would mail physical cash to get your hands. Yeah. You would get these Ring of Honor DVDs as a teenager. And as someone who, I wouldn't mail physical cash, but I did steal my dad's credit card to purchase ROH DVDs.
Respect. Good job.
He would just be happy that it wasn't porn when he'd look at the statement and be like, what is PWG and ROH? What are these things?
Yeah.
I'm like, Dad, no, it's Bryan Danielson best of. You need to watch it with me. It's not that. I promise. What are some of was there any other quote unquote sketchy things that you did that revolved around wrestling?
Sketchy. Oh, I mean, like,
because I'd classify sending the $15 in just mailing it off as a little sketch.
Yeah, I guess it's a little sketch. I mean, I started wrestling training when I was 15 years old, and like in Australia, the Gold Coast, and the setup for that was a little bit peculiar. It was in an industrial estate, and the wrestling training school was boarded on, like had like a curtain separating itself from an adult store. So it was like in a situation where I'm like not even old enough to go in there, but then like every like 3 times a week I'm going to like wrestling training like right next door to it. So I think there has been like a few little things along the journey for sure.
So hold on a second. Let me just make sure I listen to you properly because it's early in the morning here in Vegas.
Yeah.
You trained and learned how to wrestle in a building that a curtain separated the wrestling ring to the adult store?
Yeah. It was an industrial estate in Ashmore. Same promotion, same company. Maybe a few years later, I think maybe they like moved out and had a different training school. But Tony Storm, also an alumni of that school, is it's few and far between, especially like where I grew up and when I grew up in Australia. So you just kind of took what you could.
Dude, okay, first, yeah, that classifies as sketch, but that's also like very beautiful in a sense. In terms of the story and journey of like, no, this is literally where I started. And like it also makes it sweeter with everything that's going on in AEW with you specifically. I think it's been well documented. There's been lots of starts and stops and injuries, you and tag partners and all this stuff. And I'm curious, this whole process these past couple years, did it teach you patience? Did it make you hate patience? Like, what was your mindset through all of this?
Yeah, I think it's a fluctuating state of being, to be honest. I think there's times where it was like super frustrating and it felt like there was like no end in sight. And it was like, oh, like this is just going to be, this is just going to be it. I'm just going to spend my contract to her and then like go back to Australia and not do anything inside a professional wrestling type beat. But AEW is very gracious in that process, in allowing you to like heal and get back to 100% and get back to like, in the ring, being put on TV, giving you opportunities and stuff like that. So there was definitely times inside of it where it was like very frustrating. But I think that in life, a lot of things just will happen for a reason. I think that's something that I do believe, and I try to like sit back on that and say, like, if this didn't happen, this wouldn't happen. I wouldn't be in this position. And I'm pretty grateful for where I'm at right now. So it's been a little bit of a frustrating journey, but I wouldn't change it, man.
Dude, and like in a way, like just as a fan, speaking honestly, like it's kind of made all of this sweeter. And I do have to ask you, though, listen, Don Callis, probably one of the more hated from the AEW fan base. Some might say misunderstood. So just plain and simple, what's the deal with Don Callis?
In what sense? I think he has an incredible eye for scouting talent. I think he's very determined in what he wants from his talent. I think he has a very strict vision of what he wants for his family. And I think he's a really good person at facilitating getting people opportunities and putting people in positions to achieve those things that he envisions. I think he's a great little talent scout. I think that he is very misunderstood. And I think if you were on the inside of the family, you'd feel a lot differently to standing on the outside of it.
Got you. So he's kind of like a Joe Jackson type. Like, people may think he's an asshole, but the family also thinks he's an asshole, but it's a different sense.
He's an asshole.
He's our dude. Recently, MJF did an interview with Late Night Grin. It was fantastic. And during that interview, he called you the most underrated big man in all of professional wrestling. So I want to flip it around for you. Who do you think's the most underrated person in AEW? We stumped him.
Put me on the spot here. I don't want to be too nice to a stranger, you know what I mean? So no, I think that AEW is in a really great position where there's like honestly a handful of people on the roster who at any point, if they were given the opportunity to take the ball and run with it or given a spot, they're going to produce and they're going to show people, why they should be in that position every single time. I'll give some condolences to Speedball Mike Bailey. He's a dude that always goes out there and puts his heart on the line, puts 100% into every match that he does. obviously not succeeding too much right now. You know, we got our boy Kevin Knight in the Don Callis family. Speedball's chasing after him like a little jilted ex-lover. But, you know, maybe if he comes to his senses and does a little bit of groveling towards Don, maybe he'd get a little bit of a shot in the family, you know?
Or maybe put on some shoes, some socks. Yeah, I mean, it's uncleanly. Yeah. It's uncleanly, by the way, which makes why you put his foot in your mouth. Like, it was very bold, but you had to do what you had to do to secure the victory. And
salty.
You talk about just the talent crop. I do have to ask you, in a two-part question, the Stadium Stampede match that you took part of in this year's Double or Nothing, it was, number one, that experience. And part two of this question is, with the roster so stacked and the reputation that AEW has for pay-per-views being so fantastic, like, what's going through your mind as the crowd and the show of the year is happening? And it's like, okay, now we have to play our part because we know what's already happened and what's about to come up.
I mean, for me in that match, it was kind of just survive. You know, I had people trying to run me down with buses. There's weapons, there's carnage, there's chaos everywhere. And I think it's just one of those unique matches that has become a part of AEW's identity, that when people see it build on the card, they kind of have an understanding of what to expect. They know that there's going to be insanity and calamity and everything involved. So on a personal level, as somebody who does appreciate it, is quite a big fan of AEW, it was cool to be involved in that just personally. Outside of that, you know, it's just about trying to survive, really.
No, facts. And I do have to ask you, being the national champion. And let me just remind folks too that are watching, especially those with here in the Las Vegas area, we got Dynamite and Collision after Redemption coming up August 12th on the road to All In. You can get your tickets at AEWtix.com. Being the AEW national champion is that title has become the Traveler's title. With Ricochet, where he's gone, you've been taking it to CMLL, Rev Pro, Ring of Honor, and with your journey going all over the globe to make these wrestling dreams come true, do you take pride in the fact that, yeah, I will take this and defend this wherever I need to go?
Yeah, 100%. 100%. I think it's pretty cool. I think it gives me the position too to be able to, like, hey, anybody who wants to step up, I'm here, any part of the world. And it puts a little bit of a bounty on my head, but it's a thing that I do enjoy. Like, I want people to come. I want people to give me the best in the ring. I want people to try to make the most of the opportunities that they're given. If somebody can make their name off me, more power to them. Do your best, and I'll be here fighting you tooth and nail to prevent you from doing that. So I definitely do take a lot of pride in being the AEW national champion, and I'm going to take a lot of pride in continuing to be the AEW national champion after this Sunday at Redemption. And I'm just going to, take the championship as far and as wide as I can and put some recognition and some name and some names under the list of defenses and just do what I can with the championship.
Now, you won that national championship. You beat Jack Perry. It was at the SoFi Center, which, yeah, exactly, like a golf center / golf course. I don't know how to fully describe it. You've already told me what the craziest place you've trained at was earlier in the interview. Can you tell me where's the craziest place you've wrestled at? Was that golf course it?
It's up there. I feel like there's been a few cool, unique places now through AEW where we've got the chance to do some wrestling, like the Clearwater just a couple weeks ago on the west coast of Florida is also very cool. Dude, it's got to be up there. Hey, man, I'm trying to think of any other obtuse professional wrestling venues. For quite a while in the UK, we would do Tuesday nights at a comedy club in Manchester, and that was like everybody crammed in like sardines, but it wasn't
low roof, yeah. So you couldn't do much off the top rope.
The roof was okay. It was just there was like a balcony, so one side, if you like hit the ropes too hard, like maybe your head's like hitting the balcony just for like height wise. But it was a great little setup, and I think that's some of the beauty in professional wrestling. Sometimes at like the smaller independent levels too, you're just going to get these crazy little, what is this wrestling show doing inside of this building? My dream, and hopefully Mr. Tony Khan listens to this interview and hears my plea, but my dream is to wrestle on a pontoon on like a lake or a river. Like a floating ring is my dream. I want to make an entrance in like a little boat. And yeah, that
What is this, Star Wars Revenge of the Sith instead of like you want? You're just on the platform fighting for your life. First one that touches the water.
Yeah, in my head it's like a ring on a floating pontoon in the middle of a body of water, and you have to make that your entrance. Yeah, and then if you get thrown into the water, then I hope you can swim.
I love that we live in a world where Tony Khan will look at this idea and like he'll think about it. He might do it. He's not shutting it down. You know what I mean? He's a very open-minded guy, like you mentioned earlier. He cares about his roster. If he feels like his national champion wants to do that, let's do it. That movie, Revenge of the Sith, airs on TNT and TBS, so there's a little bit of synergy there.
That's good.
Yeah, that's hilarious. Let's close out with some quick hitters. And of course, being an independent wrestling content creator, I need to assure myself that I get a Fightful article off of this interview. So let me ask my controversial, spicy question right here. There's a guy that you have a pass with. He goes by the name of Jeff Cobb. Would you like to see him in AEW in the future?
Jeff Cobb, fantastic professional wrestler. I think he'd do great anywhere he goes. And if AEW is the next place that we see him, then I hope that, I wish him all the best. I think he's world class and he can step in there anywhere, anytime, any place and just produce fantastic professional wrestling.
There it is. Outside of Nathan Jones, who's on the Mount Rushmore of Australian wrestlers?
Nathan Jones, Kyle Fletcher, got to be Big Ripper. And then maybe as like an outside dark horse, just for like how long I've known him and how long he's been plugging along, is Jag Harley Jackson. That would be my call, just as a peculiar, unique little Mount Rushmore.
By the way, you've never met Nathan Jones, right?
I have not had the pleasure, unfortunately, no.
Or the honor, right?
Yeah, no. But yes, when I started wrestling, that was the only Australian man that anybody knew of doing anything of any merit inside of professional wrestling. So I'm glad the tide has changed from that.
It's crazy to think that the entire country of Australia, how sad they were when Nathan Jones actually didn't take part in that one WrestleMania match that he was supposed to have. But that's a whole separate interview that we could go in depth on.
Yeah, what a time in all our lives.
Amen. Your match versus Walter at Defiant Wrestling, would you classify that as your best indie match you've had in your career?
I think you got to like break it down if you want to talk like singles or tag team, because I think I've definitely had a lot of really high profile, high quality tag team matches alongside Kyle Fletcher, but I think he was definitely one of my best opponents and somebody who absolutely brought out the best in me. The first time that we did wrestle was for Progress Wrestling, and I think that opened a lot of doors for me individually. It sort of led me to make my way to Germany for a few weeks, and like I have German, my mother's German, so it was very cool, like full circle experience for me. Like my mother and my grandmother came to watch me wrestle in Germany, where like my grandma got married and stuff like that. Very cool, like full circle moment. And definitely a dude who you cannot sort of just take lightly when you get in the ring with. So
yeah, full focus. We got two more quick hitters, and I love the fact that, and you're 100% right, where you're like, well, are you talking singles? Are you talking tag matches? I do want to bring up another one too. When you have matches where it's you and Kyle versus Walter again and Ilya, and obviously what you guys have done and where you guys are at right now, having to wrestle in front of a global audience, is a very beautiful thing. But back then, in that moment, in that ring, is it a different type of energy where you're like, oh, this is, I think all four of us are going to have a good career in this if we keep doing this?
Yeah, I mean, I think you will find people along the way and along your journey who speak the sort of same wrestling language as you. And you'll find, like, even if you're, opponents and like hate each other, the chemistry and stuff is like right there. So there's definitely like I think anytime I was in the ring with Walter or somebody like Ilya or, you know, there's always like that undercurrent of like, these are fantastic, amazing professional wrestlers, people that you have to like put 100% in when you are facing, and people who like, yeah, you can just feel it when you're in there. It's like, it does feel a little different. And I'm very, very happy for, you know, everybody in that ring where they're at in their careers and stuff. It's pretty cool.
No, it's awesome. And we'll close out with this. You're a man who's very proud of having a, quote, big dumper. There are pages dedicated to its movements, but you're also co-workers with someone who also appreciates a big dumper. And that man's Billy Gunn, who also has expertise in those regions of the human body. Have you guys discussed at length the similarities you guys have in terms of passion?
No, to be honest with you, which is a real missed opportunity. I just saw Mr. Gunn yesterday. Would have been a real chance to talk about some posterior affection. I don't know, appreciation. I don't really know. But no, I haven't spoken about butts with Billy Gunn, bro.
Not yet.
No,
maybe a podcast, or at least a reel.
Get us both on. Yeah, get us both on next time. We'll do a whole ep.
That's a beautiful thing. Mark Davis will be taking on Andrade for the AEW national title at AEW Redemption, July 26th. Get the pay-per-view on HBO Max, Amazon Prime, wherever you get your pay-per-views. My AEW for international viewers. And Mark Davis, for your first time here, I just want to say I had a great time, bud. Congratulations. Thanks for joining us, bro.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me. Thanks for the chat. Much appreciated.